Okay, welcome back. Our ride has been completed and we're now ready to enter the ride results into Ride Stats. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and look at our bottom bar again, but we're going to click on that very first button that says Enter Ride Results. This is going to bring us to the query screen that we saw in the previous video when we were actually canceling a ride. We can see that our searching information is still the same, so we can go ahead and click on Search. You will now see the same list of rides that we saw before. Now our Lake Jane ride we can't actually report on because it's in the future, but you can see that anything that has this red scheduled next to it is a ride that has been scheduled that has not taken place yet or has not been reported yet. So in this case, for the sake of showing what happens when we're entering a completed ride, we're going to select this I'd rather be in Arizona ride and go ahead and click on the down arrow, and you can see that report is an option here. So we're going to select that, and this is going to take us into the completed ride wizard. So this is just 4 simple steps that'll get us through getting our ride entered. So the first of which is that we're going to have ride details. We're going to have an outcome, complete as planned, so just leave that as default. And we're going to have a default distance, and we said our ride was 30 miles. There is an ability to enter comments. Normally comments are never entered, but just take note that if you want to add some comments about the ride in there, feel free to do so, but this is never going to be publicly displayed on the public area of Ride Stats. This will only be tied to the ride. Only ride leaders would be able to see this if they were to drill into the ride. So we're going to just go ahead and click on Next. Here we're going to enter the members that were on the ride. And in this case, just like when we were adding ride leaders as part of creating an event, the search functionality is exactly the same when we're entering members on a completed ride. We can search by the ride, the member ID number. And in this case, I'm not going to add myself because I've already been added as the ride leader for the ride. But I can enter other people by their TCBC member number. I can add them by their last name. Or I can do a first name, last name combination as long as there's a space in between. So in this case, I will have a K and a KO. And I found the person I was looking for, so I will add them as well. If any of these people were also a leader on the ride, you can go ahead and check the box to say that they also led the ride. Now there will only be a checkbox here if there was a person that is a registered ride leader. So in this case, when I add somebody who isn't a ride leader, that box is not available. And since this person wasn't on the ride, I can also use the trash can here to remove that rider from the ride. And they're gone. So at this point, our members have been entered. We're going to go ahead now and enter guests. At this point, it brings up a little form. I can enter the person's information. I can add their phone number. And then I can enter their email. And this email is a required field. However, on the TCBC ride sheet, we don't ask for email addresses. We do ask for a phone number in case of emergency that we can contact them, but we don't ask for email. So what you can enter in here is guest at biketcbc.org, and that way it allows you to complete filling in things without having to know their actual email address. Now the reason that this is a required field in Ride Stats is that there is additional functionality within Ride Stats that would allow us that had we had a correct email address, we could send an email to the person after the ride and say, how was your experience, give them more information about how to join the club and ride with us more often. But we're not currently using that, so it's nothing to worry about. Simply use guest at biketcbc.org. We can go ahead and add our guest. Since our guests are added, we can click on Next, and we'll simply be brought to a summary page that gives us the members who are on the ride, 4 riders, 1 guest, Everything looks great. We've got the distances. At this point, we can go ahead and click on Submit Ride. So at this point, the ride has been successfully entered. It is closed up. If you do need to make edits to a ride after the fact, you as a ride leader do not have the capability to do so. So simply reach out to RideStats at biketcbc.org and let the scheduling and RideStats team know what additions or subtractions to your ride need to be made, and they will go ahead and update that for you. Our experience over the years is it happens very infrequently, so simply send an email, let us know what changes need to be made, and we'll get her done for you. So at this point, this concludes the RideStats videos for how to utilize RideStats. We hope you found it informational, and we hope to see you entering events and rides soon, and we'll see you on the road. Thank you.